am Dr. Maritza Johnson, and if you are new, welcome to the family. Today we have an exciting topic to talk about. It's very heartfelt, and this is something that brought about wine therapy and my practice, L.B. Johnson Therapeutic. So I am excited about what we're going to talk about today and just remembering what our purpose is, how to find it if we lose it, right? So as this month is Suicide Prevention Month, we're going to talk about the way your life matters. So the topic of this show is Uncorked Session 23, Your Life Matters. And we're going to talk about some ways that we tend to lose our purpose, you know, tragedies and situations that happen in our lives that kind of take our mind off our purpose and make us feel like we may be worthless or hopeless. So we're going to talk about those things today. But you know how we do it. Before we get into the show, we have to introduce the wine of today. And the wine of the day is a Love Corkscrew wine, and it is called We're Moving On Up, and this is a Cabernet 2018. So let's do our wine tasting. Let's get to it. So the first thing we're going to do, you all should be used to it by now. The first thing we're going to do is see it. So what do you see, right? So I see like okay, I'm not going to say cranberry, maybe like grape cranberry. I see reds. And I've started to swirl now, so you see and you swirl to open up the aroma. Remember to be gentle, do not be rough. You do not want to waste your wine, okay, because we don't want to waste our money. So be very gentle in your swirling. And I see some like rings, which means that the alcohol level here is a little high. So that's pretty cool. They're not it's no streams though, which means it would have been more, but I like it so far. Okay, so now we're gonna smell. And it smells pretty sweet, okay? We have that communion juice going on, so I hope it's probably sweet, but we're gonna get into it. So now it's time to sip. Now when you sip, make sure you swoosh it in your mouth a little bit so that you can tell me what you taste. So let's do it. Communion juice. But it's so good though. I really enjoy this wine. Very sweet. Y'all know I'm not that sweet person for real, for real. I'm a dry wine girl. But this is pretty good. And I taste, of course, berries. I taste a little wood, not much, but it was good. So I hope that y'all can, you know, I'm an ambassador for Love Corkscrew, so I really hope that y'all are buying from this Black-owned company. It's owned by a woman, and this is her wine, Love Corkscrew. And she has sponsored a few of our shows, so it would be great to send some customers over to her. So I hope that y'all can check her out and receive some of her wines as well. All right, so you know we got, you know, put our cork in there. All right, so let's get started. Let's talk about it. So wine therapy was created for the African-American culture intentionally in the initial process after, you know, so many years of my brother passing. So my brother was Billy, and he completed suicide in 2015. My family was not so knowledgeable, competent, or hip to mental illness or depression, anything of that nature. We just prayed, and that was it. So wine therapy was brought about from that. And after that, you know, after the passing of my brother and then also my mom, I knew it was even more of, you know, a need for our community to learn to talk about situations, right? And so as it's Suicide Prevention Month, that means we have a need to talk about how to save a life, how to prevent suicide. But then we think about how do people get there? Well, it starts with depression, and then you can roll it back a little bit more, and it's whatever situation that someone is going through that they may not have control over. They don't know how to deal with the sadness. They may not be going to seek help or using their resources, right? So it can be a variety of things that bring people to get to that point where I feel like this is it, right? And for some of us who are even in stressful situations that, as I said before, we can't control. And when we are not in control of things in our life, it does become hectic. It's overwhelming because we cannot stop it. And we may want it to stop, we may want it to go away. So with that, a lot of us want to just kind of push back from everything, isolate, and then we may tend to lose our purpose. What am I even here for? A lot of people, when they are sad, overwhelmed, depressed, got a lot going on, we want to escape. Not everybody wants to complete suicide, but a lot of people may want to escape. We want to run away. Had a client not too long ago tell me she wished that she could just go on an island by herself and get away from everything. We want to escape. And when we're in that place of escape and removal, we forget what we were put here for and what we are, purposed or, divine to do here. And when you lose your purpose, that's when you lose everything else. Everything. And so today I want to talk about how your life matters, why your purpose is so important. I deal with clients a lot who are suicidal. Of course, I am specialized in suicide prevention. And they lose their purpose. I don't know why I'm here. I cannot see a reason for me to stay. That has been the number one thing. I don't know why I'm here. I don't have a reason to be here. Nobody cares about me. The world would be better if I'm not here. And that's false. That's the depression talking. I had made a video on TikTok not too long ago talking about how depression will lie to you. And it will tell you these things that are not true. So depression will make you feel like I have no purpose. I am just a vessel here on this earth doing nothing. I'm made for nothing. But before that, you had a purpose. But because of the environmental issues and the situations that are carrying on in your life that you can't control, that you want to get away from, it tends to take away from what you remember your purpose being here for, right? So I want to kind of give us some tools. If we are in that dark place and we don't know, I don't know why I'm here, and when my clients say, I have no reason to be here, I always tell them, identify, what you care about. Who do you care about? Who is someone that I love them, I need to be here for them? Sometimes we can think about the smallest things, and I know that some of you may think this is weird, but it's so common, and when I ask my adolescents, when I talk to them about suicide prevention and I do my assessments, and I say, well, what's one important reason for you to live? And you think that we're all gonna say family, friends, myself, my future. Sometimes they say something as simple as my dog, my cat, because that is who they care about. That is who they are showing that reciprocated love with. Not saying they don't get it from their family, but sometimes we connect closer with our pets because that is something that we have ownership of, or somebody that or something that we put in place to receive that love. So a lot of times we have to go back and just think about, what do I care about? Who do I care about? That could be the first step. The second step is reflecting on what matters. And that's going back to your values at some point. What are my values? What matters to me? I feel like I've lost my purpose. I lost my place here. Even sometimes coming out of depression and healing from it, coming out of anxiety, we can tend to lose our purpose and we wonder, okay, so what was I doing before this? Well, these are some steps to help you find that purpose again. So reflecting on what matters most to you. So we want to identify things that we care about, but also what matters to us. Does it matter to you that you're helping people? Does it matter to you that your family is healed and whole? What matters to you? To give you the motivation to be here, to give you that motivation to find the passion for your purpose again. What matters? Another thing that we can do is recognize our strengths. All of us have strengths. All of us have strengths. And a lot of times we magnify our weaknesses because when we're in those places, that what speaks louder to us than what we are pulling from our strengths. So what are your strengths? We all got them. And when you figure out what your strength is, that's what you can build off of to start pulling yourself out and then finding your purpose. What is my strength that I'm a speaker? My strength that I'm a lover? What is my strength? My strength is that I'm resilient. Is my strength that I have a willing and open heart? Like, what is your strength? Nobody's strength is the same. Nobody's story and journey is the same, of course. But we all have a strength, and your strength may not be somebody else's strength. But that don't mean that you have to magnify your weakness because they are stronger in a place or in an area that you're not. Hey, we all have different places in our life and different things in our life that are strengths or weaknesses. So to help you start to figure out again what your purpose is, what are your strengths? Another thing is imagining your best self. And this can be the hardest thing when you are not in the right headspace, when you are not feeling your best. I know. It's hard to see yourself past the suffering. It's hard to see yourself laughing again. It's hard to see yourself loving again. It's hard to see yourself not isolating again. But you can do this. So what is your best self? What is something that you see that you can do that is wonderful, amazing? Push past what you see right now. Remember, right now is not your best self. This is your, you can say, not so best, say words may be suffering self, but we all know that this is not the best self. So it's something outside of this that is greater that makes it our better self. So imagine yourself. Who are you at the greatest potential? What do you look like? What do you look like? What are you doing in that visual you have? So that is another step that you can use. Hey family, before we continue with the show, I just wanted to say that if any of you would like to be a sponsor of our show, send us a wine, let us know what you would like us to talk about, whatever topics that are interesting to you, you are able to do so. Our information is in the show notes, so don't hesitate to reach out, and we hope that you enjoy the show. Okay, so we got identifying things we care about, thinking about things that matters most, recognizing our strengths, and then we just now talked about imagining our best self. One thing, and I will say this to every client that I have, every person I know, I even do it with myself, coming out of depression and understanding that my life matters is applying gratitude to every day of my life. What are 3 things that I'm grateful for today? And this is not to say that every day gonna be a good day. We're gonna have some days it's just like, God, why? Why is this going on? Why is this happening to me? I'm not happy today. But what are some things you're grateful for to pull you out of the funk? For you to realize, it's still a good day. Gratitude will make you still see the good in something bad. Well, I'm grateful that it turned out this way. I'm grateful that, it could have been me in those shoes. Or I'm grateful, we talked about rejection last week. I'm grateful that I was rejected because it gave me a new redirection. So find gratitude, 3 things. I'm grateful I woke up today. I'm grateful I have a job. I have a family. I'm grateful that I'm still breathing. I'm grateful that I can at least have enough energy to even get myself to see a therapist today. That I'm able to eat. You don't understand, when people are in that dark place, we lack every interest, everything that we used to do on a daily, from grooming every day, eating, to doing absolutely nothing. So if you see yourself doing those small things, that's finding gratitude. So finding gratitude helps you understand that your life matters, but also finding that purpose again that's coming out, and then just looking forward in a positive way. You're starting to really hit a positive lens. If that, in all honesty, practicing gratitude gives you a positive lens. All you're doing is adopting that new mindset every day. So that is another step. And then the last one is seeking support. There is somebody out here that's going to support us. And sometimes, I talked to a friend earlier today, and sometimes we overlook those support systems because we are so attached to those people who have commonalities. Like we have this in common. And a lot of times we like to trauma bond. So if you hurting, I'm hurting, let's bond. But is that a support, or are we just kind of trauma dumping on each other and we're just connected in that way? So look to the people who are there to help you, who are there to support you without you giving anything in return, just you being you. Lean on your support people, because that will give you, and they can tell you. One thing I love about my friends, sometimes, I think, especially in the past, I would used to ask them hey, what is it that I'm good at? When you forget, they're going to always remind you good at this. This is what you used to want to do. This was your desire before. This is your strength. Friends and support people can point out things to you that you sometimes forget that was there. Friends and support people are people that you can reach out to when you don't feel like moving on, when you feel like quitting. They're there to motivate you, right? They're there to tell you how important your life is to not only them, but to yourself, what your goals were before you got into this slump. Remember, the slump is temporary, but the purpose is long-term. You get longevity of blessings, with your purpose. The slump is temporary. It's not forever. It's just for whatever that temporary time is. So sometimes we get caught up in the temporary that we make it long-lasting because we couldn't find our way out. So I'm giving you the tools to find your way out, to find your purpose, and to understand that your life matters. Everybody here on earth has a purpose to be here. And we lose it when we go through situations that are hurtful, that are depressing, that are overwhelming, giving us high anxiety, we focus more on the situation than what we were here for, which makes us, magnify that more and give more energy to the negative than the positive parts of our life. So this is some things we want to change. So when you're in that place, these are some steps you can use. If you know someone who is struggling with being here, with struggling with understanding if their life matters or not, these are some questions that you can ask them yourself. And don't be afraid to talk about suicide. I think that's a myth for sure, that if we talk about suicide, we're going to give them the motivation to complete it, to do it. And that's false. So don't be afraid to talk about suicide. Don't be afraid to ask the hard question, because that opens up the line of communication so that you can kind of furthermore know, well, what's going on with you? It gives you that inside look at them, the things that they're not telling everybody else, the things that they are only saying surface level. Asking about those things and talking about that hard topic will give you the understanding of what's truly going on in the inside of them. It gives you more in depth of the situation. So don't be afraid to talk about it. Don't be afraid to really help somebody find resources. We don't want to overstep, right? But we also don't want to let somebody go lacking because they may not know where to look where we can help. So basically, all of this is to talk about a life matters, and we can save a life too. So I just really hope that you all take the steps to heart. You use them, and for yourself, for somebody else, and that you can encourage other people and motivate them to know it's blessings in living. What you're going through is temporary. Your life matters. You still have a purpose in being here. Right now, you may not see it because of this, and this, but you have a purpose. We all do. And sometimes we just got to tell people that. We got to remind them, because the depression will tell you otherwise. So sometimes it's amazing to know that a sound voice saying those things that we need to hear in that moment will save a life. So don't be afraid to speak out. Don't be afraid to help. All right, so family, I hope y'all enjoyed the show, and until next time, let's talk about it. Hey family, I hope that you enjoyed the show, and remember, this is Suicide Prevention Month, so remember that you can save a life, but also that your life matters. And with that, you all have a purpose, and if you feel like you're in a place where you no longer can remember what your purpose is, take these steps, utilize them, and go back to living. Your life matters. Remember to share, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and tell somebody else about me, because we don't want to be the only ones receiving help. I'll see you on next Wednesday.